Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 5 of the What Shoot podcast, where we will be discussing and breaking down and just generally gushing about episode, 96 and 97 of Critical Role. So, I guess to open up, we can talk a little bit about that wild Gorgon fight from episode 96. I just think it's funny how, because Matt was sort of voicing his frustrations during the battle because the party was rolling so well, and he wasn't quite able to land his petrifying breath on members of the party. So it definitely, I don't think it was a fight that he was wanting to kill people in, but it was a fight that he wanted to he wanted it to be a challenge. He wanted it to be a hurdle that the party was going to have to get over, but ultimately they were able to take care of it pretty quickly.
I liked the battle map. I liked the detail they put onto it with the statues, and later on, obviously, when they smashed one, the little rocks that he put down. I thought that's nice.
Yeah.
And very symbolic, as we found out later on.
Oh, right, yeah, with Corrin being shattered to pieces in there.
Dynamic battle. He always manages to introduce something extra to the battle map, other than just, there's you, there's them, fight. There's always something they've got to dodge around, or some extra element they've got to worry about, and it's awe-inspiring to watch from another GM's perspective. You're got to remember to do something clever like that in my next battle.
Yeah.
I also a puzzle and a battle is really interesting. Also, not being able to weigh your encounters, or having your encounter weighted well and then it not working out the way you think is very GM DM relatable.
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
I also really liked how he made them place their minis down before he told them where the Gorgon actually was, and they're like, "No, what are you doing?" And he's like, "No, you tell me where you actually are. Be truthful."
Yeah.
That was very clever.
Yeah.
I liked Not's levitation skills when she was floating around. She's like, I go prone as I'm flying.
Yeah.
I float down and then I float back up. Just that kind
clever.
Brilliant imagery.
Yeah, my favorite is whenever Matt brings out the smoke machine, or the fog machine, to create that cool effect. Oh man, maybe one day I'll get one of those. With
the maps a few weeks ago, I forgot to put any smoky maps in it.
Maps.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they did just so well in that fight, because you said he was voicing his frustrations throughout the fight, but I don't even think it was a matter of he didn't plan it correctly. He had a obviously beefed up Gorgon, but they just rolled so well. They did so well. They worked as a team. Obviously, I mean, they did so well. Ford went down and Bo turned to stone, but still, I was kind of cheering when Jester's inflict wounds landed, because I feel that one so often fails. It's it hit.
I know.
And then Caleb disintegrating, and it was just they did some proper damage and some really good teamwork, or at least not even teamwork. I think individualized, just well thought out attacks.
Yeah,
it had the potential to go really badly for them, though.
Oh yeah,
it did. It did. I was
Ford and Bo, and it's oh my god, he's down, and now Bo's turned to stone.
Yeah, I was waiting because the past couple combats, it's been mostly swarms of enemies that have been coming at them, and so after they've destroyed the initial wave of enemies, another handful of them come. So I was waiting, as they were just laying into this Gorgon, I was waiting for Matt to be and then another one appears out from the tree line, and the second one came
I know,
in.
I was thinking that when they started exploring the cave afterwards, and I was like, come on guys, be more cautious than this. You need to be doing stealth checks. Come on. You're going to get... But no. I liked it when Bo ran up and did that amazing natural 20 acrobatics flip onto his sack, and then punched it. She's like, I'm going to get it. And then everybody's like, no. And she's like, oh, what? Is this going to be bad for you? And he's like,
and
that transition between, oh, shit, sorry.
There was that one point where Ford was 1 HP on the ground, or he was already unconscious on the ground, and she's like, I'm going to hit it. And Travis is just like, okay. Okay. Fair enough. Good fight, fun fight.
Monks are crazy.
Yeah.
Monks are crazy.
I didn't realize until afterwards too that it was his aunt that had got shattered. I was thinking, no, she must have been destroyed earlier, and they're like, no, she got destroyed in the fight. It's like, that sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really bad.
I know. I was trying to calculate it and think like, oh, which one was that? I think it was one of his ancestors. Oh,
Yeah.
bad.
It would have been hard for Matt to, I imagine, like determining which way the bull was actually going to run, which family member it was going to destroy.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, yeah.
I loved Laura doing Toll the Dead with 31 points of damage.
Yeah. Oh my god.
It's a cantrip.
It's a cantrip.
Yeah. That's a devastating move. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the really sweet healing word as a bonus action to Ford. It's like, get up, man.
Yeah.
So that's really nice. Even though we know they're obviously husband and wife, it was a very nice action to see.
I feel like Yasha, for the first time, for one of the first times, felt that grog rage of having to run after the thing across the battle map rather than just having things in front of her the whole time. It's like, oh, it's over there now. All right, I'll use my action to get there.
Yeah.
Reminded me of like Grog in the Feywild.
Yeah.
He's horrible.
Can I jump to get to it? And
Lots
other
of
ways
running.
of barbarians getting about.
Yes, Genie's Pool. This will be a 96 and 97 discussion. We are just finishing up talking about the Gorgon fight from episode 96. So, yeah. Oh, Bidet. Hello, welcome from Alabama. Whew. Man.
There you goes.
But yeah,
I think
Gorgon.
Laura is getting incredibly tactical at D&D. I've noticed a transition from post Cupcake. We should probably call it PC and AC.
PC.
Before BC. But post Cupcake, Laura has become the MVP of Critical Role, and she's surpassed Sam's ability to think in a dynamic and lateral thing. She's getting so advanced in it. She's becoming deceptive before physically deceptive as well as rolling deception. So she's conning the cast and Matt, obviously she did with the Cupcake, but she's starting to get super confident with the game mechanics as a result, and improve her game no end. So it's really impressive to see that transition. And there was some nasty interactions between the two of them. I mean, I wrote down Matt is getting to be a really mean DM too. When he's saying like, "Oh God, you guys are so lucky," and good when one of them failed, or I got to get real creative next one. I'm learning with each progressive battle. And you're like, "Oh, this doesn't bode well." But then Laura quips back, is like, "Don't you yet me, Matt Mercer." It's like a child, like a mother chastising a child.
Yeah.
Two clerics is such bullshit. And you're like, these two are just locking horns, and they're just working out different ways to combat each other. I'm wondering, can clerics get counterspell? I don't think they can they?
No. No,
I think one of the domains might be able to, but yeah, we have Elena. Go check it out. What was I gonna say? But I guess to sort of speed up the episode 96 discussion, we can sort of group in Caduceus' whole arc within like one go.
Just quickly,
like
it's just the arcane casters. It's sorcerer, warlock, wizard.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. But honestly, I had mentioned it in one of my Aftermath episodes how Caduceus' family is like such a breath of fresh air, because it's not tragic. They're all very wholesome. It's just a very supportive, loving, awesome family dynamic. Which is not what we're used to.
It's so different to the Derolos.
Thinking about that contrast is insane. But
I thought it was wonderful because I don't know what I was really expecting from Caduceus' family, but I think I might have been just anticipating a bunch of Caduceus, like kind of not dopey, but like they're kind of slow, calm, easygoing. But I think we really only saw his dad was like that, and the rest were their own unique kind of individuals. Loved his sisters. That was so great.
Remind me of what's she called from the first campaign? Cleric. Paladin. No, the Paladin. Kima.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Kind of characteristics of like.
Yeah. Kind of brash, but also caring and loving. Yes.
So Matt's so not scared of just like doing a bazillion voices, and I know that's obvious because he's like a voice actor, but like he introduced so many NPCs, and he had control over that situation. There could have been just his family and like one other person there. Like he had complete control about what that was going to look like, and he just kept adding people and with very distinct accents.
Yeah, that Dragonborn.
Yeah. Like it was. I was like, what are you doing? And he just kept adding other people, and it was so interesting, and it fleshed it out, and it was cool. Yeah. But it was so much. And every one of the clays, like you said, they're so different from each other. They could have just all sounded a little bit like him. Like Matt could have done that, but he didn't.
Yeah. They had very distinct voices and personalities. Yeah, it's actually insane how he's able to juggle that many characters in one scene, because it was the Clay family, Aramis, Gama, I can't remember, Gaima,
the half giant.
Yeah, Gaima. I think it was Gaima, and then Mechatoth, the Dragonborn. Yeah,
who had the craziest voice of them all.
Yeah,
just like the surliest, most sarcastic Dragonborn.
I liked it when Bo found the stone Dragonborn head, and she was like,
oh yeah,
was like, what was that? She was like,
nothing.
Oh god.
And
that's like kind of sad.
Yeah. Jester, when she was improvising, and she was like, "May she always give you plenty of milk."
Telling people it's been 200 years. 200 years have passed. Cat just pushing her face away.
Oh yeah. One of the fan art from the montage last night was a picture of a depiction of that. Yeah. It's so good. So good. Oh,
I love that we got to see. Oh no, you can.
It's super off topic, sort of on the fan art thing, but I don't know if you guys were watching the montage for last night's episode.
A lot.
And a lot, an hour and a half worth. We'll talk more about it once we get to there, but the fan art of someone who like took like a shelf or like drawers and like painted the Mighty Nine and Vox Machina.
I think they called it Vox Machina.
Or I think it was just Vox Machina.
Right. That was awesome.
But oh man, the crowd went crazy when that first showed.
I think they said that took them like a handful of months to complete.
Holy
that one,
moly.
It was insane.
Understandable. It was actually so incredible. Anyways, we can go back to art 96. Caduceus' family and all that stuff.
Yeah, I like that we got to see Caduceus and how he interacted with his family. And then we heard Taliesin talk about it on talks later, saying how he was trying to keep the Mighty Nine and his family completely separate. And I'm wondering if that's just because he is a bit of a different person with his family, or he just wasn't ready for those two worlds to mix. But I enjoyed that so much, how we got to see him interacting with his siblings, his weird kind of like brother rivalry, but also just the way he like pranks his sisters and is kind to one. Yeah, it's nice, like full younger sibling energy. Caduceus.
Yeah, so good.
And the bone flute. I love the bone flute, but now I'm sad it's gone.
Yeah, well, he's gonna have to earn it back now.
Like that transition of like seeing your family members leaving and going and leaving and going. Stay here. I'm going to find out where they've gone to. Okay, and they just never come back. And that being left on your own, it's quite atypical, stereotypical, solitary journey for the adventurer to start with. Of like, yes, I've been on my own for such a long time. It's very Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I think it's really nice. Like if you go back and watch when he first joined the party, I think it's something like they said, "Oh, we need some help. Can you help us?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I've already got my bag packed," or something along those lines. Or like he was like ready to go, just kind of waiting for that push, I think, to get out. And then that whole idea of he's not ready to go back. I was really hoping they'd go and see what happened to the Blooming Grove, but I guess we'll see that eventually, I'm sure. But I thought it was really sweet how he said, "No, I want to help the people that have helped me, but I'm also not finished my journey." I think Caduceus' journey as a whole has been a lot of unknown, and it's kind of just feeling where he's going and kind of making it up on the way a bit, but with guidance. Yeah. So I'm excited that he decided not to leave then and there. That would have been crazy if Taliesin had just been like, all right, Caduceus leaves, goodbye, new character. Yeah.
I was actually like speculating like what, because I don't think like if Caduceus did leave and Taliesin had to roll up a new character, I think it would probably, I feel like it probably would be temporary. Like Caduceus probably would have just gone back with his family, done what he could to restore the Grove, and then join back with the party after a certain amount of time. So I think if he did leave, Taliesin would probably just come up with like a temporary character that would just join the party for a little bit.
Caduceus doesn't want to miss Traveler-Con.
Yeah.
Like one out of wanting to see what it is, and two just because I think he's concerned.
Yeah. And I feel like he also has a creeping suspicion that Uk'otoa is not finished with Ford, and Caduceus kind of feels like he needs to like protect Ford in a way, since Caduceus is kind of introduced Ford into like the Wild Mother in that whole.
Well, it's not. Does he not have the orbs still inside him, and he can still breathe and control water and things like that?
Yeah, he does still have one of the orbs, or does he have two?
He had one orb in his sword.
In this sword, yeah.
Which
so I think that was gone when he destroyed it. Yeah. But I think when he became a paladin, they made mention of something. He still had like a bit of a dark pit inside him, or something along those lines, which I think is the Uk'otoa connection.
Yeah, probably.
Can't wait.
And they're going to sea again.
About to be on. Yeah, I was about to say they're about to be on the water again too.
He's coming.
Yeah.
He's coming.
Yeah. What? Just before we finish talking about 96, what did you guys think of the just the Mighty Nine being absolute assholes and just pranking the entire temple?
You know,
just the worst people.
You know, on brand.
On brand.
Yeah.
But like,
very much.
During that whole scene, I was just like, oh, this is like it's funny. I'm here for it, but also kind of disrespectful. But but it was that was great. That was great. And then Bo's sort of she appeared to be somewhat drunk, or at least getting there. But then her like sort of saying how she thought Jester was attractive. I'm curious if Jester's ever going to bring that up again, or if Jester was like, she was probably just, saying that or whatever. But
it's interesting because there's a lot of discussion about Bo's behavior that episode, like good discussion, some pretty crappy discussion, but just talking about what Bo's been through recently and how a lot of people see this as her kind of coming back to early campaign Bo, and it's interesting that like she's still been through a lot, so it's a long process to come to terms with it. They've not really had too many chats. I've had a couple in the dome, but they've not had any strong, long heart-to-hearts, I feel, recently, where I mean they still haven't probably talked to Yasha yet, I feel.
I keep thinking that too, Alana. Every new episode I'm like, they have so much to process, and then something happens. And it was good almost, I feel like, this episode, because they got to sort of process a bit of that, but like externally with somebody else, with their talk with Essig. Like I felt like that was good, but not everybody has baggage from the past, I don't know, 10 episodes. Basically, it's this podcast, We're the Curse. We've started this series of episodes that have just like every single new episode is epic and is another huge lore drop, another huge background. Bringing up people's backgrounds and just like pulling on so many heartstrings, and they haven't stopped. And then at the live show, it felt like they wanted to get to the party so that something like happened, I guess. And so they didn't like role play out any like long conversations, which is fine, but also there feels like there's so much
we need something
to talk about.
Well, we just need we need a nice like 4-hour just shopping episode, just a nice break, just go to Pumat's, just hang out with Pumat for a day and just relax.
Another spa episode.
We need a nice spa episode. It's been a while.
I haven't really sat down and chatted with Yasha since Ashley got back. Like,
yeah, no.
I feel a bit sorry for Ashley because she hasn't had as much chance as the rest of them to really flesh out what her character looks like and how her character interacts with all the other characters. And I know Ashley does a lot of work. She plays, I think, in her head, plays a lot of like single player D&D, where like she fleshes out what would happen. You know, when she was sort of off with the other show and not able to play, but now she's back. I feel like, yeah, they need to like somebody needs to poke, basically. I think a lot, and get stuff out of her, because when you sit down and think about what we know about her, even though so much has been focused on like getting her back from the Angel of Lions and whatever, we still don't really know that much about her.
And I think we talked about in an earlier episode how the only one major conversation she's really had was with Caleb, and probably wasn't the best person to talk to, because it's a lot of self-loathing and kind of that idea of, am I worthy? But someone's just put it in chat, maybe some boat convos coming up.
Yeah, definitely. So back on the back in the pirate arc, there were definitely a lot of conversations. Maybe we'll get another like jellyfish bloom moment with Ford and Jester. That's still one of like my like top 5, top 10 like favorite moments of the campaign. That whole scene.
Is that your edit with the music behind it?
Yeah.
Whose edit? There's somebody. Okay, that's a good one. I like that one.
That's my. Whenever I want to have like an emotional moment or like a cute moment between two characters, I grab that song and just throw it in there somewhere. It just makes it so much better.
Yeah. Perfect. Should we talk about 97?
Yeah, I think unless anyone else has any closing thoughts on 96.
No, but I want to hear about your experience, Nico. Like, we can talk about the episode, but I want to hear about.
Live vicariously through.
All right. We'll do a day in the life of the live show. So I actually got there pretty early. I didn't have a VIP ticket, so the doors opened at 7 o'clock for the regular ticket holders. So I got there at like, I don't know, like 6:45ish, and there were a decent amount of people. So there's like a waiting area before you go into like the main like concession lobby area where everyone was sitting, because it's freezing cold outside, so everyone was in like that little vestibule. But then that got super crammed, and so people were then having to wait outside. But luckily I got there early enough to where I was able to squeeze in to shield myself from the cold. But then a lot of the cosplayers started showing up, and we obviously, we would let them in since, they're not in winter attire. They're just in their cosplays. So they were probably freezing. But eventually the doors opened, and they had to pat down and search everyone upon entering, and they only had 3 people doing this. So it took
that's where the delay came from.
Yeah, it took so long for them to get through every single person that was coming through. Because, I mean, I don't know how many VIP ticket holders were already there, but there was 3,000 plus people there in attendance. So they had to individually search and pat down every single one. So that definitely took a while.
Patting people down?
Well,
holy crap.
Kind of.
Like the quick kind of.
Yeah, the quick, nothing intrusive or anything like that. Yeah. They had like a handheld like metal detector thing.
Oh yeah, gotcha.
But again, luckily, we got there early, so I only had to wait like a half an hour, which was still a long time because I was like only a few people away from the door to the lobby, and it still took like a half an hour for them to get through that many people. Definitely a bit slow, but it was all right. Then when we got in, the Chicago Auditorium is an absolutely gorgeous theater. The architecture is incredible. But then in the lobby they had a bunch of drinks. They actually had like alcoholic drinks.
The cocktails?
Yeah, they had like special names for them. One of them was like
awesome.
the Traveler, one of them was Rumpelcusp, one of them was something else. I think it was Caleb related. But yeah, that was super cool. I did not indulge, but some people were were talking about how good they were. But the cosplays were pretty awesome. There was someone who cosplayed as Buttonbeard. He had a bunch of like buttons on his beard. And he was dressed as a pirate. It was so good. It was so good.
Oh, Phil, you could absolutely.
Yeah, you should do that next time you go to a con. It was pretty awesome.
That's
Somebody
amazing.
always said I should go as Victor.
Oh yeah. That'd be amazing.
My mistakes, I did.
Absolutely amazing. But I'm excited for the con tomorrow to see all the cosplays because there was an amazing Kaliana cosplay. There was an Allura. There was a few jesters, a few bows, knots. All of them. But they're all absolutely fantastic. It's crazy seeing the level of talent and work that goes into some of these cosplays. It's so cool. I regret not asking for pictures with any of them. Yeah. I figured I would just do it all tomorrow when everyone's going to be at the con and stuff. But it was pretty great. And then it was like because the show was supposed to start at 8:00, and so I was like, hey, we should probably just go find our seat. It was like 7:30. We were like, we should probably just go find our seat just so we're in our spot. We don't have to worry about finding it. Then we can just chill out and watch the fan art montage. And so we sit down and it was pretty empty. I was like, man, how are they gonna fill all of these seats in the next like 20 minutes? And so 8:00 rolls around, the montage is going, and it was supposed to be starting, and I'm looking around and it's still pretty empty. There's like a couple hundred seats that are still not filled, and then they would occasionally. Did you guys hear Brian Foster's announcements on the live stream?
Only the ones at the start, like his normal like on stage announcements, but we heard nothing.
Okay. Like periodically, like every 30 minutes or so, he made an announcement saying that they're working hard to get everyone situated and stuff like that. So I wasn't sure if the stream heard that or anything.
Yeah,
it was
chat
like
going crazy and saying like, well, it's been 45 minutes. Well, how long is it going to be? Well, now we've made an hour.
I was.
They're working as fast as they can.
Yeah, I was thinking about like pulling up Twitch chat just to see what they were saying, but I could already assume what they were.
I was just I made it home on time in order to watch it live. I was like, I'm not going to be able to watch it live.
Yeah.
And then like I was messaging Kiralee. I'm like, oh, it's getting kind of close. I'm almost going home.
And
then I got home. There was still like half an hour before it started.
Yeah.
So it was fine for me, but I can imagine it would have been.
But I guess I should rewind a little bit because while we were waiting, just taking it all in, taking in the atmosphere and watching all the cosplayers and stuff, someone came up to me and said that they were a fan of my channel and that they really enjoyed the podcast in particular. So big shout out to you, Sarah. It was a pleasure to meet you, Sarah. That was super awesome. And
That's so cool.
I'm glad you enjoyed the podcast. We definitely love doing it. So gives us a chance to all gush about our shared passion in this show. Yeah. So hope to see you at C2E2 tomorrow if you are going to be in attendance.
Hey. Thanks, Sarah.
Did you guys see on Twitter that Critical Role Closet said that she needed to go to bed?
Yeah.
She had to get up to catch a plane, and she was like, but I can't go to bed until I see Sam's costume, because obviously she has to like deconstruct what that is. And he was like, I'll send you a DM so you can go to bed. And he did, and she's like,
it's cursed.
I need you guys to see it. And then the contact
so
embarrassment
funny.
I felt was more than I've ever, like, I was just like,
it was
it's so bad. Why?
So bad.
Why did he do that?
He's got the most confidence of anyone.
He does.
Like, it's insane.
He doesn't.
And then he roleplayed not
I know.
But it's so good. That just speaks to the level of the show where I was completely involved in all the scenes that Not was in.
Yeah.
And then occasionally I'd like blink and be like, oh, that fucking beard. Like, holy shit. Oh man.
My God, it was so good.
All of their outfits are amazing.
I know.
That the whole, I love that of any live show where they all kind of put in and dress up a bit, like the glitter, the Ashley's sleeves. Yeah, man, they all looked amazing.
Yeah. And I looked at the live stream, and the cameras captured like their cloaks. It looked like they were like blue or black.
Yeah.
But like,
were they green?
They were like a deep green. Like
okay, yeah, they look kind of
very
blue.
blue. Yeah, I thought that. I was like, I'm sure it's supposed to be green.
Yeah. So it's kind of weird that the
cool.
colors mistranslated.
Yeah. The cameras were a little bit funny, I think.
Yeah, they were shaking a little bit. And was the audio delayed a little bit?
I didn't find that. The audio was crackly for a while, and then they refreshed it.
I noticed when the audience was singing the opening title sequence, it was slightly delayed, and I was thinking, like, come on, guys, chop, chop, you can see the words on the screen. Bang, 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 bang. And I thought, oh, no, it's audio delay from the internet. It's fine.
Yeah. And, oh, man, like...
There's a few technical.
The crowd was insane. Because that was the thing that I was most excited for, just being and feeling the energy of the crowd. And
so where were your seats? Were you like in the bottom, on the top, or in the gods?
So I was in the bottom. So there was like the VIP section, and then I was in the section right behind there. So I was
in the VIP section. Did you see anybody famous?
No, I did not, unfortunately.
Any elite Critical Role fans out there that are trying to keep it secret and we can expose them to the world?
Apart from yourself.
I think so.
Get a scoop.
Yeah.
I think somebody was saying the Rivals of Waterdeep were there.
Yeah, they were like behind me a few.
I think they were in like the VIP.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you have a good view?
Yeah. It was pretty good. The stage is pretty far forward, so I still, used the projector that they had to fully experience that, because they're still pretty far, just the way like the auditorium is laid out. But they were still pretty good seats.
That's awesome.
Do they have a screen above what we can see on the stage with the same format on the screen as what we see on the stream?
Yep.
Okay.
Cool. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So you don't have somebody cutting between the 3 or 4 different camera shots that they've got.
Correct.
And just watching one big screen.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That definitely helps. But because then I've been like rewatching so many moments from that episode on the live stream, and it makes sense that they would quiet the crowd reactions and like the cheering for the sake of everyone hearing what's happening. But man, the audio that the live stream was capturing of the crowds does not do the crowd justice at all. Like every time there was cheering and laughter, it was like deafening how like energetic and loud and awesome the crowd was. Especially
that person. There was a person that shouted something right at the beginning. What did she shout?
She said, "I love you, Taliesin."
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what she said either, but as soon as she said it, I was like, oh, come on.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Brian just said.
Matt had the best response though. It's like, that's very sweet, but please don't.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like, but yeah.
There were a few pretty popular, Critical Role community members there. I know that Critical Role Faces was there. Critical Bard was there. I actually saw Critical
Katie,
Bard in passing.
I think there's quite a few artists there as well.
Yeah. Matthew Key was there. I don't know if any of y'all remember him from Geek and Sundry and the Wednesday show. I think he was on. But I was like only 90% sure it was him, because he was like talking with like a group of people, but he was talking with them for a while, so I thought maybe he was just like friends with them and he just like looked like Matt Key. But then over a period of time, a few other people like came up to him and started talking to him. It's like, oh yeah, that's probably him. But it was just cool kind of seeing him just mingling, with the general populace.
Genie's Pool says Flando was there, who was like, I think
he does the timestamps, right?
Yeah. Timestamps are a lifesaver when I'm editing videos.
Wow.
Yeah, damn. Superstar.
Wow, there are a lot of people there.
I don't even know. Does Flando have a Twitter? No.
I don't know.
I think I only know him as a underneath comments on YouTube. That's it. And lifesaver, the best.
Yeah. the best.
Oh,
Yeah.
he was in the VIP. Nice.
Cool.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. But
I
yeah,
think it's
overall,
definitely,
absolutely an amazing
like,
experience.
so cool.
Yeah.
Definitely the live shows are very different.
Mhm.
It's definitely a different animal, and I know some people really don't like the live show, like don't like seeing the stream of the live shows because they're a very different feeling. But like my other favorite podcast, Dragon Friends, has always been and is just a live show, and like it's just in front of a live audience all the time, and so it just is a whole other energy. Like they're really feeding off as performers. They're really feeding off the audience. Sam being just ridiculous, and Liam being like, I'm on stage again, and just going as deep into character he can possibly go, and as like just hamming up the emotions as much as possible because that's like what gives him life. And so I think it's different, and I can understand why some people it's not their thing, but it really like brings a whole different energy, and I can't and gives people who actually get to be there like that whole experience that you got, Nico, which I think is really cool.
Yeah. Definitely. I wish they had more live shows that we could attend because it's such a awesome experience.
South of the equator.
Yeah.
Come down.
Yeah.
Southern Hemisphere. Let's do it.
Yeah, I guess we can go into talking about the craziness of this episode, like the important
Such a good
parts.
episode.
Oh man.
So good. Like speaking about it as a live show, it felt like it was so just well put together.
Yeah.
So many things happened, so many major moments which we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
But all of them had a decent amount of time. They all felt, none of them felt rushed. And I just thought, it was so well done. Everyone was on their A game in terms of their characters. What an episode. I think it might be one of my favorites of the campaign.
Yeah, just so many.
Because it had a bit of everything too.
Yeah.
It had probably except for maybe like combat, but there was a weird bit of magic combat in there. But
yeah,
I think even then it was just probably one of the more perfect episodes.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And I guess we can open up the 97 discussion with the reveal of Essek being in on it that whole time.
Hang on, before we go, did anybody see that coming? Did anybody have any hint at any point that Essek was crossing over to the Empire?
Didn't see that. I thought thought for the longest time that Essek was probably shady as hell and maybe a traitor. I thought that when they interviewed that drow in the prison and he was being a bit aloof and not got a bit of a weird vibe from him, I thought he was probably doing something against the dynasty. I had no idea that he might have been working with the Empire, or that he would be there in Nicodranus. Just the way Matt described that too, like you see the floating figure of a young drow.
The entire crowd collectively gasped. At that reveal.
I liked the noise that Laura made as she stood up. And she went,
just the no.
Not Essek. Yeah. The chat was going crazy as well. It's like, no, not Essek.
Yeah, just no's all the way down.
A stream of no's.
And that was incredible because that only came about because Bo's like, hey Caleb, do you think you could get like Frumpkin in there? Like and Frumpkin like rolled an amazing stealth roll. If that hadn't happened, they probably wouldn't have got that reveal. Like
not at all. I mean, Matt said before he did it, he says, this is going to be interesting.
This is going to be interesting,
Okay.
Oh my. Imagine though. So let's say they didn't get that reveal, and then they go to the party, and then that whole and the true sight, and then Matt's like, and Bo, you see Essek. Floating within the party.
I wonder if Caduceus would have done the true sight if they hadn't had the reveal of the fact that he was disguised. I think he might have, because I feel like maybe Talus has been holding onto that spell for a while, but that's
so I didn't suspect Essek, but when it was revealed and then he explained his whole thought process, it makes sense that he would be the mole and the one who did all this. But what were we gonna say, Kirli?
Oh, I was gonna say this is very out of the timeline, but just because you brought up the true side. So like a lot of what Matt described was really cool. People like having glamours, that makes sense. Is there like D&D lore about the fish and the like ethereal beings, or is that just like straight off Matt's dome and just something he always knew was around in there? And then somebody gets true sight and sees it.
Before, when Molly took that drug, was it in Zadash? And they were wandering around the streets. He described some like weird creature coming past. So it's something that I think just exists in the ethereal plane. I must admit, I've stolen the same ideas and used it against my players. Freaks the hell out of them when you say like, "There's a fish coming to you." Like, a fish? I'm in a market stall. What's going on? What's happening? And you get very similar reactions from other people who are like, "Are you tripping balls? What's happening? Did you give something?" Like when Caleb's sending the message and she's like, "Shit, she's tripping again." Okay, Ford, we are on the point.
That whole scene was so good.
Insanity. People challenge them and say like, "You've got a writer's room." I watched that scene and tell me somebody could actually write that.
That was pure improv and just like feeding, I think, off the crowd's energy as well. But that was
both of them
insane. But no, the ethereal plane, I think, it's just that idea that it is full of these kind of ethereal creatures that you can not interact with, but they just pass by the material plane. Such good imagery, though. I did like that whole, even Marion when she's singing, like the fish are paying attention and swirling around her. It's great.
Which makes me feel like if Marion has a class, I'm guessing it's probably a bard-esque class.
Or a succubus.
Could be. Because the way Matt always describes it is like it's a trance. It's very magical and you feel drawn to her voice, so it definitely feels like there's more. There's probably more to her character.
Like a college glamour, maybe. Back to the boat. Like even before Essig, just getting to catch up again with Orly and Marius.
Oh yeah,
I love that character so much. Because thinking back, that's been since super early campaign we've known about Marius Lepore, and he's just the biggest kind of flake.
That's true, actually, because he was mentioned in that letter that they had found. Wow. He was
Avantika's contact in Nicodranas. But just how he's like now living his best life, or at least trying to. And that was great. We actually missed, because the stream cut out. Maybe Nika, you can fill us in. When they went back to the ball leader after discovering Essig, before they started talking, like before Caleb told them everything, we missed from them leaving the Cerberus Assembly boat to getting to the ball leader. And from what we could tell, it was they were having a conversation with Marius again. But I don't know.
You really didn't miss too much. They left the boat. Caleb sent Frumpkin to follow Essig. Once he left, and then just some like irrelevant side conversations as they were traveling, and then they got to the boat again, and they asked Marius if he had killed anyone yet in the 20 minutes that they had been gone. And they just had like a back and forth banter of like, do you really want me to kill someone? No, it's fine. Yes, we do. No, it's fine. And it was just a little bit of back and forth of that.
We picked it up from Matt. Maybe it was Travis saying, "Let's go back to the ball eater," and then picking out from Matt saying, "You're hazing me, aren't you?" And we're like, "What?" We could interpolate it to some degree.
That was the ending of that conversation of them just being like, "You really want me to kill someone?" Didn't really miss anything important.
I was wanting to know that, but I don't like it when it cuts out. They must know the story. How can I possibly work out what Matt's up to if you don't see anything? But still, I didn't see Essig coming. I had no idea that it'd be Sleeve. It's incredible.
No. The Martinet is such an interesting character as well.
I know.
He's clearly a powerful mage, and he's the leader of the Cerberus Assembly, but his connection to the Empire is so bizarre, or it's so unknown. Like, how much does he actually have loyalty? Probably not much, it seems, to the crown, but he has loyalty in wanting to either not control, but just, you know, make the Empire prosperous, I guess. Maybe he seems like he wants the Empire to succeed, but whether that's through a king or just through his own efforts.
Yeah, it's probably like a situation where it's like, if he wants to succeed, the Empire has to succeed. So while his intentions are probably selfish, he does know that the Empire does need to survive and thrive in order for him to carry out what he needs to do.
Does he seem like he's interested in the beacons at all? It doesn't sound like he's the one doing any of the research.
Yeah, it seems like it's more Trent and Vesterogna that are interested in the beacons.
She's interesting too.
Yeah.
I've not fully met her yet. I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
I just want... okay, if you see me live tweeting, it's always just like, if there's a random NPC they haven't met yet, I'm like, is it Doolin Tversky? I wanted to be Doolin. I want to meet that gnome so bad, but never.
I keep thinking about that as well, and it's like, what was that asteroid? What was that all about? What happened? Is it something to do with Dunamancy? I was reading some interesting... God, you introducing me to Reddit the other day. It's like, oh, you got to go see Reddit. They're posting your videos there. Oh, yeah, I'll go and have a look. And I was like, oh, right, okay, right. 5 days later, I'm still there going,
what have you done,
tell me about this. Tell me about this.
Yeah.
Jesus. It's a small world to enter. No, it's fine. It's fascinating, some of the theories that people have got on there.
Real quick.
But it's true, like, we haven't heard about the asteroid except for in the one shot, right?
Yeah.
And
true.
Maybe a little bit you could link in maybe the guy that they met that was like researching the moons. That was like another sort of astrological thing. But I was just looking just then, and like episode 100 of the last campaign was the start of like the final chapter. So like episode 100 is like where you start to get into like the Vecna.
The final arc.
101 was the big one where they went for Vecna for the time, and they were like, "Oh, we shouldn't be doing that."
C1 spoilers, by the way. C1 spoilers.
In
this podcast.
But so what?
Kind of a given now, but I like
4
to say
years ago.
I know. Still.
Spoilers have got to have a limit at some point.
It's probably still new fans. Just
50
putting it
years
out there.
later. Oh, spoilers for 50 years later. No, what?
I just don't know what the final arc is going to be.
I think we're ways off still.
Yeah.
I feel like he's stretching it.
Not really.
I feel like it's really... I hesitate to say this. It's starting to remind me of Game of Thrones in that it's a really good story and it's got a really nice progression. And then he realized it was really popular and went, "I'm going to stretch this story into 50 million more books." I'm not accusing Matt of doing anywhere near the same as that.
I think Matt's also said he never really expected them to get involved with the war or get involved with the political intrigue.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably added a lot of depth to the campaign, or a lot of like a lot of story and a lot of development that wouldn't have been there previously. So we might never know what the campaign was initially planned out to be, because it has turned into this like such a strong political...
Well, he did give them a choice in Zadash and said, like, you can go and work for the palace guard, basically, or you can go and work for the gentleman. So they went for the gentleman. So they've always chosen that less than decent and honest traditional adventuring heroes. Like, yeah, we're fighting for the good guys. We work for the government and the king and everything like that. It's like, no, we work for the kind of slightly shady guys that hang around the edges.
So in a different timeline, they don't end up meeting Essek, and he ends up being the big bad. That's the final arc.
Yeah, I think that's like, he's kind of like Caleb's foil as well too. He's William said he's like a mirror of Caleb's character, but the only difference now is they're friends with him, as opposed to him just being bad they come up across. You imagine like it'd be like Essek and Trent Ickathon fighting against the Mighty Nine.
Oh man,
I think
Caleb's worst nightmare.
Matt and Travis summed it up perfectly when Travis said, like, "Hang on, this isn't the plan. I thought the plan was." And Matt just turns to him and says, "Welcome to the Mighty Nine, Travis." Like, that is the Mighty Nine down to a key. Though that's mantra and the they never learned is basically everything to do with the Mighty Nine. it never goes to plan. They never learn from it, and it always just goes way off kilter of just like what they originally.
And yet they're quite successful.
Yeah, and it makes for an interesting,
they fail upwards.
An interesting story. Yeah, because very good. There's a lot of good comments going on in chat. A nice Walking Dead reference. I do agree with that. Dawn from the Hospital. That's a good pull. Yasha does still have, because kind of what you were saying, Kirli. We don't really know a lot about Yasha. Like we know some of her backstory. We know that she went with Oban and all that stuff. But I feel like there's still so much more development for Yasha's character and her personal arc.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll ever see her tribe, like meet her tribe, or if her tribe's even still there. Mm-hmm. We don't know what happened in the early days.
Yeah.
I still feel like Ford has a lot of development to go through. Bo, definitely. I don't see the campaign ending until at least there's been some major conflict with the Cerberus Assembly or some major kind of battle there.
Yeah, because they got to deal with the Cerberus Assembly, Tharizdun, Isharnai, once that comes back around. Uk'otoa.
What do we think about Veth? That transformation in the bathroom.
Oh,
that was so good.
Oh my goodness. As soon as Matt said, and before you see Veth Bernardo, riots. I thought riots were going to break out because of how crazy the crowd went. After that.
Yeah.
Oh my god, such an amazing moment. But even the build up with not saying like something very heartwarming and touching to each member of the party was so good.
Yeah. When he said she said to Ford, it's like, I only do that because I know you can take it.
Yeah. You're strong enough to take it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's very good at that. He knows how to pull those heartstrings.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sam, like, immediately, because I was thinking the whole time, like, I wonder if Beth has a different voice. I can't wait to see if there's going to be a different voice for Beth. And then this beautiful kind of soft-spoken English kind of voice comes out, and then fucking hell!
I got some clay in my throat.
That's when you see the leprechaun outfit again. You're like, oh yeah, it's Sam.
Bringing us back.
Yep.
Such a great moment.
It was so good. And you said that the big projector screen above the table had the normal layout. Did it come up with Nott's character stat block?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
that.
and that lovely transition.
Oh, chills when that happened. Oh my gosh, that was so good.
It's so cool. This is a little bit further in the stream, but I made mention that later in the episode when Veth was running around doing all that invisible stuff, I was still picturing Nott. I was still picturing a little goblin scurrying around and doing stuff. And it's going to be so tricky. Like, I even just said Nott then when I met Beth. It's going to be tricky coming up with the new name and the new, just picturing her as, in her true form.
The mental picture,
But it's so exciting.
Veth the Brave. That sounds good.
Yeah, man. Veth the Brave. I don't know if she's gonna stay.
It was too good.
I think she will. I think they have, like, in their actual lives too many examples of, like, even like Sam's like wife to like going overseas and doing amazing work that, like, her family totally gets what that's about. And so I think he, like, Veth will stay, but I think it would be really funny if Sam left pretty much about the same time in both campaigns.
Mm-hmm.
I'd want to see him turn into a Minotaur.
They teased it.
That'll be a Minotaur this year.
A year from now.
That would have been hilarious, because I think with that spell, it's like they get to decide what their new form is. If like Matt was describing it and he described, and suddenly there's a Minotaur in the bathtub. Like, if Sam's just like, no, I decided to be this, or my true form is something different, that would have been insane. Someone made a really cool point in the comments. Cassie Banks was saying how Yeza was saying Veth wasn't his to lend. Like, damn right, Yeza. That he was such a supportive husband. It's that idea of maybe he would probably be open to her going out and still being that adventure, and then
Yeza is a king. He's an absolute.
He's the best.
he is the best.
Halflings are the best.
Yeah.
Currently, you've mentioned before Matt's ability to slip messages like that into the role play.
Yeah.
Very poignant and heart-warming messages for the entire audience of like, this is how to be a better human being. Listen to this and do as I say.
Yeah.
It's like Brennan Lee Mulligan on Dimension 20 also. Like, they just can't help but their actual character comes through. And even when they're playing a really crappy character, they're doing it as an archetype of like a message. But yeah, you could see like, you could almost see him doing the math of that moment. And then when it came around, that really stood out to me too. And I did think of that, about how it was, I don't know, is it gross to be like you said, like a teachable moment? Like I don't own this person. Like, that's not how this works.
But I think that's also just still staying true to Yeza's character. Like, he is that supportive husband and just kind of kind and just wants the best for his wife. So
I just want to give Yeza a hug. I just
he's so sweet. He's the sweetest. I love that also.
I'm not convinced he's a dragon.
You're not convinced he's a dragon?
Not convinced he's a dragon. No, he doesn't seem to have
Yeza, not Yusa.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeza. Okay. Sorry.
Well, now I'm thinking Yeza's a dragon.
Yeah. Oh my god. Plot twist.
Yeah. He's a black dragon.
Oh no.
I loved that Veth's first interaction with Luke in her true form once again was getting shot in the head with a wooden crossbow bolt.
Yeah.
It's like, back to being a mum.
Mm-hmm. It's so touching.
It was great. And just the comedy of breaking the bathtub and just as mum just being the absolute coolest of saying like, oh, you're going up to do weird shit in my bathroom. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's my daughter with her friends. Cool. I'm supportive. Just clean up after yourselves. Like, she's the coolest.
Mother-daughter interaction when she said like, well, as you grow up, then you do find that people that you emulated. No, that she's real. It's like, what? Is she safe? It's like, they didn't mention the word cult at all.
Yeah. Oh, and then what did Bo say? Bo said something along the lines of like, it's a bit predatory. She's like, what?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man, that's great.
So
She's
good. And I also loved like the little moment of like one of the first things that Jester said to her mom was, I got a tattoo. And there was just that whole like classic like
you were always a jewel.
I love their relationship so much. It's so good.
I love watching Laura squirm when Matt initially goes into character as a mom, and he does that whole.
Oh yeah.
It's all giggly. And I love that. Yeah.
It's so
fantastic.
So good. Man.
What else have we missed?
There's a lot of things to talk about.
There's loads of things that happen.
Yeah.
And
so one thing, another thing it seemed like there was. Matt had an idea of what he wanted to have happen at the party, and I feel like some of it revolved around that sharp guy, the one who initially was the reason for Jester having to leave Nicodranus. Because he said his like, well, Jester was like, well, what are you gonna do about it? And then he was like, well, you'll see. And he walked off, but then Jester cast Charm Person, and then that whole matter was resolved. So obviously his plans for that whole storyline went out the window. And then...
Like, very neatly. Boom, boom, boom. It's that, like you said before, Phil, it's that post-Cupcake Laura. Like,
you can't compete with like Jester when she's got an idea anymore. It's like...
But first... Before we continue discussing, can we just talk about their outfits, their fancy, not their IRL outfits, their in-character fancy.
Yeah, perfect, all of them. Loved it. Especially Bo and Ford with his hat.
Yeah, oh my god, especially when he had that conversation with the dwarf captain.
Yeah, where's your hat?
Yeah.
And what you said
back at my
about
mom's
accents, the two dwarves, they had completely different Scottish accents. Really, really dynamic range of Scottish skill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love that.
I wouldn't have been picked up on that feel, so that's cool to hear.
Mm-hmm. No, you mention it.
I just love that there was so much opportunity for Jester to fuck around with them, but she knows them so well, and I think her and Caduceus just, and you could see as soon as they decided they were making the outfits, it was just Laura and Taliesin talking for like 10 minutes straight, clearly coming up with some plans, and then deciding, what was it, is like they spent like 15 platinum on it, or like 25 platinum. It was just like a lot of money on these outfits, and man, they were good. I'm already seeing so much art come out, and it's just like, yes, I'm gonna live for this.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, it's so
Beautiful.
good, so good. Yes, I loved all the ball eater
How it is
stuff.
so fast. Like, it's incredible, and like, I eat it up. I'm like, I wonder if somebody's drawn boom and it's there, and you're like, how?
Mm-hmm.
I would never. Oh god, I would make such a mess even trying, and then it's just like perfect, done.
Yeah.
There you go. That's what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Marisha's like physical reaction to her outfit.
Yeah.
It's just amazing, and someone's pointed out, Matt's just like, I have to buy her that now.
Yeah.
It's like so good. No, it's just like they scrub up so nicely when they want to.
I could definitely see them like episode 100 or even like a Halloween episode, if they all get those outfits custom made and they wear them for like an episode.
I'd love to
I could
see
definitely see them doing that.
That'd look amazing.
Yeah. Sam would look great.
Sam in a yellow dress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's 100% up his alley.
Someone also did an opposite of that. Someone drew the Mighty Nine characters in the cast outfits from the live show.
I saw
that was really good too. Yeah, that's awesome. But no, amazing. That whole party, like, cause we were predicting for the longest time what was going to happen at the live show, to an extent where we were like, oh, maybe TravelerCon will be the live show.
Yeah.
We were off.
Yeah,
we were off.
Yeah.
But that was such a good idea, because I think Matt didn't necessarily want to do TravelerCon or the negotiations at the live show, so he had something that was clearly different, like, oh, let's go to a party. And it was just so good, like you said, like everything that happened there. And it's that whole failing upwards thing. It's just, I get the Hall of the Mount King music in my head. It's like just slowly getting worse and worse as things happen over the course of that night. It's great.
That's so funny.
Yeah, well, didn't you use that for your Astral Red Note video?
It's just it's the music of things just progressively getting more and more chaotic.
Yeah.
I love that video, especially the description as Travis slowly fades into that background of like an astral scene. It's like, this is much worse than we thought.
Yeah,
it's so good.
I think that the Dragonborn is just color. Like, Matt often puts things in the world that are just like, they're just things that happen. This world is so big. Things are happening in it that don't have anything to do with anything else.
Yeah, it's not some plot. It's just someone hiding. Yeah, but then they absolutely ruin that man's night.
We need more of Bo being high. Obviously, she was just seeing the ethereal plane and she wasn't actually high, but just her dealing with all of that, and it's just so good.
I do like it was Caduceus saying, "You'll be your best self."
Yeah.
And it's like, yep.
It's meth.
This is amazing. It's meth. It sounds a lot like meth. Yeah.
Oh my god. It's so good.
I'm trying to think of everything that happened throughout, like meeting the Marquis, meeting the Marquis of Nicodranus, and he's kind of like spends 2 seconds with them. He's like, all right, I'm bored with you. Moving on.
You guys are boring.
The whole Sharp interaction. But yeah, like that Sharp character, you get the sense of why maybe Jester fucked around with him early on, because he's such a creep and he's just and
I'm so glad.
Pleasant person.
I'm so glad Matt chose Yasha for Sharp to interact with, because I think that was like the most perfect person he could have chosen for that sort of moment or situation.
I forgot about that Liam and Marisha, or Caleb and Bo doing like the movements, trying to tell Yasha how to interact with him.
Yeah.
Like,
my friends are getting smaller.
Smaller. Oh. That was excellent.
Oh my gosh. But you were right, Alana. Like, this episode hit so many like good just moments. Like, it had everything. This episode had everything you would want for an episode. It really was like a perfect episode. It had like epic moments, hilarious, chaotic, chaos crew energy.
Yeah.
It had really serious, sad, heart-wrenching moments, with Essek and all that stuff.
It was like, major campaign revelations, like turning points. I felt there was, major character development, major NPC development. We met a lot of old NPCs, met a bunch of new ones.
Mm-hmm.
I said before, probably the only thing we missed out on was combat, but there was that wonderful, weird mini, like, out of initiative combat that they had with Essek, where they were all just trying ways to, like, lock him down.
Yeah. And just
the idea of
you guys imagine the luggage that they brought with all the Dwarven Forge in it. That
just in
yeah.
case.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tons and
I
tons
think
of it.
that image of paralyzed Essek just being slowly, gently pulled by Jester, and he's just kind of drifting with them as he goes. And you can probably feel Essek in that moment, starting to piece it together, like, oh god, they probably know. Oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's just so much fun.
I like the interaction when they first listened to the conversation and they overheard it. Yes, well, try friends sometime. That was poignant.
Oh,
and Sam is like, "Oh, it's going to be painful when we kill him."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I loved Nott's line at the end when she said, "Like, welcome to the Mighty Nine."
Oh
So
yeah.
That whole conversation was so.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
It was so depressing and heart-wrenching, and we really got to see Caleb's character growth in there, because he was explaining to him how they're not different, like they are very similar, like they went through similar things, they had a similar mindset and stuff. So we got to see Caleb finally coming to terms with his own demons by seeing them in front of him in Essek, since he was sort of looking in a mirror, as he put it. So we got to really see a lot of character growth with Caleb in that conversation as well.
Probably a lot of self-therapy of, like, addressing your own issues and, helping someone else through it. But you could tell Caleb was, like, devastatingly hurt by the reveal that it was Essek.
Yeah.
And I loved, he said when they first got him into the ship, like, well, we want you to see the sunrise tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, there was the option, I feel like, of Caleb is prepared to possibly kill Essek. But it's that whole idea of looking at his faults and looking at everything bad he's done and realizing he can be redeemed. And that's a long-standing thing with Caleb. Is he redeemable? Can he be forgiven?
Yeah.
And so despite everything that Essek's done, like, he has helped aid a war that has killed thousands of people. Like, it's reprehensible. It's evil.
Yeah.
Fine, he just has to have lots of babies. Like Justice says, he has to have lots of babies.
She still doesn't quite get it, does she?
Repopulate the world, Essek, go.
Yeah. But I just feel like, it's Caleb truly saying, like, no matter what you do, you can get better, or you can at least make amends for what you can do and just leave the world a better place than how you found it. That wonderful callback to Molly. It was such a good moment for Caleb. And that's, like I've said before, I'm always a little bit apprehensive about live shows. That's what you said, Kiralee. Some people don't particularly go for them. Like, I always prefer when they're one-shots or things like that, because I worry that serious moments get kind of overplayed, or serious moments kind of get downplayed for the comedic moments. But that was probably one of the more dramatic and well-acted moments of the campaign, and was at a live show. And it was beautiful.
The auditorium was silent for that, like, entire conversation until, like, someone said something funny, like Jester had like a one-liner or something, but the crowd was silent.
That's what I worry about, because there was a few moments earlier where there were some touching moments and you could hear the audience going, oh, like, and that sort of thing bugs me a little bit. So I was watching that scene just fully engrossed, and man. But I love it so much.
I can't remember if I touched on it yet, but even if I did, I want to bring it up again because it's so awesome to me. Is, like, in that moment, especially, like, everyone was so silent and, like, hanging on every word that that was happening on stage, because we all know how important this conversation is. We know how important Essek is to the party and to us as a community. We've grown to really like this character. But even just with all the other moments and awesome reactions that the crowd has, it's honestly such a really special experience, because, normally, we're all sort of isolated when we watch episodes of Critical Role. We're all just on our computer, on our phone, watching it on our screens and stuff. But being able to experience it at a live show with thousands of other critters, where we're all finally having like a social, there's like this a social aspect to it, and we're able to experience it all together collectively. It was just such a crazy, awesome experience. But man, yeah, that final conversation was, man. Yeah, we were definitely.
It's going to be the next episode, because I know we like to talk about predictions, but the next episode, it's.
I think we'd be able to open a chain of pubs across the world called Is It Thursday Yet? And we watch Critical Role live, all of us across the world. I'd love to do that.
That would be nice.
I think there are places that have live watches.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one in Manchester.
I've been thinking of, because there's a board game store like 10 minutes away from me, and my dad's relatively good friends with the owners, and I was thinking about like shooting him an email and being like, hey, would you be interested in like having like a Thursday night showing of like Critical Role for the episodes and stuff, but haven't quite gotten around to composing that email or reaching out to him yet. But that'd be cool.
Yeah, that's a big one, that.
Yeah.
No, I really love, especially now doing this podcast with you guys, just being able to talk about it with people. But I've only recently been able to start watching it live, so I'm on the live threads and I'm live tweeting as well, so you get that sense of you are watching it with other people. And I'm really sad because next week's is the last week I can watch it live thanks to daylight saving. So I'm going to go back to just watching it quietly by myself in the room.
Yeah.
But no, it's
Wait,
wonderful.
What time does that make it for us then?
It'll make it 1 p.m. for us.
Oh, man, that's
So
still
I finished
time.
Yeah, I finished work at 2, so it's that. But I've only recently learned you can watch a live stream as it's. You can go watch the start of the video on demand as the live stream is still going. I used to wait 5 hours and then watch it, but I've since learned I can go and I'll only be like an hour behind. Didn't realize that. All last year I was waiting till like 7 p.m. to watch it. Yeah, but no, it's good now. Yeah, but I still have the podcast.
Yeah.
I have accidentally now gotten my players onto watching it. So they never did, and now they do. And I'm just there. Most of them are second campaign, couple of episodes in, and on one of my tables they've met Caduceus, and I'm just waiting for the day. I'm like, they're gonna know. They're gonna know that I just flat out stole that character. I'm like, damn it!
I think that'll be a fun surprise for them, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be really exciting, but also
just say it is Caduceus, and there's it's just spelljam it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Came into your universe. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, man, that was crazy. That was a crazy episode. Every one of them since we started this podcast has been crazy, but it's so nice to have people to process it with. But I'm the same as you, Lana. I watch people's live tweeting because just to see somebody else have the same reaction. I don't know about you guys, but I get so used to having the conversation of oh, what are you doing this afternoon? Oh, I'm watching Critical Role. What's that? Oh, it's okay. Do you know what Twitch is?
I just don't tell them.
Yeah, it's like a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just tell people that show I watch live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was a lot to unpack with that episode. Is there any final moments or thoughts that you wanna bring to the light, or things that we didn't discuss?
Lots of shippers across the spectrum.
Man.
Very happy.
It's gone off.
Oh yeah.
These past few weeks
True.
have been insane for the shippers.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. They're all happily fed, and I bless all of them with all the small bits that they got from this episode.
Yeah. Little bits all throughout.
Yeah.
That's great.
Oh,
do we have any predictions for the next episode?
Oh man.
Sea battle. Big fucking sea battle with cannons. Yeah, those arcane cannons on that ship. He's like, you don't know what they can.
Yeah.
I want to see them in action. I want to see the to coin a phrase that Marisha used, I'm horny for combat. I want to see, I like the combat. I want to see them in a big sea battle where Caduceus just doesn't go wave and just wash them all over. I want to see those, because I don't know if you've seen the rules for that. They were invented by somebody, homebrewed by somebody, and Matt just got onto the internet and went, yeah, these work. These would be really good. And I've tried to incorporate them into my games, but it's never quite been able to work. And I'd like to see it in a big battle. And you're not telling me.
What would that be, Phil? Like, who against who? I think that'd be awesome.
Pirates.
But what do you think that's be?
This is the thing. It's like you're going to see with two rival nations to sort out a peace treaty for the end of the war. You're not telling me that any DM in the world is going to be right. What's going to go wrong? It's either going to be weather, or it's going to be pirates, or it's going to be Ukatoa, or something else that is vaguely linked to where they've been in the past. But something's definitely going to happen at sea.
Yeah.
I think I'd like to see it be something with Ukatoa. That would be very cool.
Yeah. 100% Ukatoa is coming.
His
tentacles are coming
dragons from the sky again. We don't.
Yeah.
Do you reckon Matt's already got the mini? Maxi? Biggie?
For Ukatoa?
Yeah.
I don't even know, because like,
I hope so.
Do we know if Ukatoa even has a physical body on the material plane? Like, we don't even know. He's locked away still, technically. Like, he's not been released, has he? Unless he has been released.
Unless, I think we would know. Or at least I think Ford would know if he was released.
I think, I feel like any Ukatoa we're going to get is just going to be having maybe
a dream or like a nightmare,
I saw someone make a reference, or like a joke, and it was when TravelerCon happens, it's on Rumble Cusp, that's where Vandrin is staying. That's like where he's exiled himself to. Or did we discuss that on the podcast? I can't remember, but someone just said, what if Rumble Cusp is where Vandrin is, and he opens his door one day and sees like thousands of people in green cloaks, his ex-mentee, like...
Oh my god.
Just like absolute chaos on his island. Like, that would be incredible.
Insane.
But no, I think next episode we're gonna get some fun sea travel.
Because they're setting sail in a couple days. I think they said. Yeah. In the
which
thing. So,
I feel like they might like skip through, or they might like fast forward a bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's going to be a lot of Veth having to talk with Yeza and coming to a decision. So I think that'll probably be one of the biggest parts of the next episode, like what Veth decides to do, and obviously what they're going to decide to do
like
with
a kind of. Maybe like a kind of downtime episode then. Not real downtime, but they've got a couple of days before the actual talks are happening. So maybe it'll be like what things do you want to get done? Like,
I'll be interested if they decide to leave with the Empire ships, or if they want to get out beforehand. Because I think, didn't Orly say something of like, well, we can leave like before them if we need to, but they're going to have to decide what to do with Essig, because they said if they reveal him, then the whole negotiation's off. But how can they?
That's another thing we're going to have to worry about now is one of the other members of the Surface Assembly figuring out that the Mighty Nine knows what's going on.
Did they say who knows about Essig? Obviously, the Martinet knows about Essig.
Yeah,
did they say that like Trent knows?
Yeah, it was Ludinus, Trent, and Vesterogna that know. Yeah. Okay.
And we can probably safely assume no one in the dynasty knows.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
What a name, Vesterogna. It sounds like a cocktail you'd order in a bar. I'll have a Vesterogna, please.
Oh. Someone's just said Travis needs to relearn his sailor terms.
Oh, yeah.
That was the fit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and
Vaughn knows
Ashley
everything
said,
about
like,
Yeah,
shoes.
you should quiz him
Just
right now.
test him. He's like,
Yeah,
do you want me to come over there and I'll test you?
perfect. Yeah, that's
Oh
Friends.
my god.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I
Was
can't.
that the previous live show where he rocked up with like a folder?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it wasn't the last live show, but one of the live shows. Yeah, was
The last one where there was the boats.
Yeah. Yeah. He had like a bunch of sailing terms ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah, and he was like pulling them out like randomly when they fit. But I'm still, man, I still don't trust the Cerberus Assembly to.
I don't trust anyone anymore.
I know we can't trust. Essek has ruined us. He has betrayed our trust, and now we're ruined for all other new NPCs.
It just goes to show too, because we've now got another interesting parallel of you've got the two monarchs, you've got the Bright Queen and King Dwendal, and their underlings or their supporters or the viziers or whatever you want to call them are so untrustworthy. So the Cerberus Assembly cannot be trusted. Essek, the Shadow Hand, cannot be trusted. Yeah, it's like, I love the political intrigue of it and just how fucking screwy it all is.
This campaign's Chroma Conclave is coming up. It's coming. It's gonna be these peace talks.
Kind of feel like Essek, like the reveal of Essek was pretty like.
Yeah.
Obviously, it wasn't as much as like Dragon destroying Amon, but
yeah, it's gonna be Uk'otoa destroying everyone.
Huge,
I'm still. I hope that happens. It would be terrible if that happens, but I kind of want it to happen. I want Uk'otoa to just come back and just rain destruction.
Yeah.
I think my internet's breaking up.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
You're still fine for it. You're still fine.
Yeah, okay. you sound still fine, but I guess any other closing thoughts? Any other wild, out there tinfoil hat predictions?
Essek is actually Larkin.
There it is. You heard it here first. You heard it here first. And
that is the number one prediction.
Yeah. And then
I don't know. I mean, I'm still in shock from Essek, and I can't quite recalibrate my thought. Like, what? No. Okay. Now we put that. No idea. Absolutely not. Magic carpets everywhere. Anything's possible from here onwards.
Yeah, and we'll probably get a nice wrap up to that conversation in the next episode, since they kind of ended the episode halfway through that conversation they were having with them. So we'll probably get a little bit more information. Oh no,
where have you gone? Computer.
You're still there.
Oh yeah, okay, there he is.
My screen went to sleep because I haven't used it for a while.
It's all right. At least we didn't have a mishap of last week where the entire thing went off kilter, but that's all right.
Something's happening. The Amazon Echo just went berserk.
Oh no!
That's all right.
Oh no, it's happening. The electronics are beginning their takeover.
Before the whole thing crashes. Yeah.
All right, so Essek is Larkin. Uk'otoa is back. He's gonna be back, and he's gonna reign hell in the negotiations. Yep, Avantika's gonna be riding on Uk'otoa. Yep. And Vandaren's gonna be having like a barbecue on Rumpelcusp as TravelerCon happens.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. I want that in artwork. That sounds fantastic.
I think we've got it. I think we've planned out and we've perfectly
send it to the writers' room.
Yep. We'll pitch it to them. You know what? I'll pitch it to them tomorrow. When I see them at the con.
Are you doing meetups? Are you doing like a photo op?
So I'm going to the panel on Saturday morning, like their Talks Machina, which is going to be about obviously this episode, and then like right after that they're doing like photo ops and like autograph sessions and stuff. So I'm going to try to do a couple. I want to prioritize Matt and Marisha, because Matt, I didn't get a chance to meet him last time, and Marisha, I want to pitch her a few ideas that I have for content just to see what she thinks.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna prioritize that. But yeah, I'm super excited.
Lose who dare win. Yeah.
I know.
Just go up and say, "Have you seen my YouTube channel now? Can I have a job, please?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try it. There's nothing if you don't ask.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. The worst they can say is, "We hate you."
Fuck off.
Yeah. Please delete your channel.
Stealing our ad revenue. Stop doing it.
Yeah.
Miss every shot you don't take, Nico.
Exactly. And that's why I got to keep hyping myself up because I don't want to like talk myself out of it because I don't know when they're gonna come back to Chicago. So
you'll be good. You'll be fine.
Yeah. So definitely.
Marisha's lovely. She's a real angel. She's incredible.
Yeah. So
always remember that Danny Carr is just a critter.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how she started off. Yeah. That's very true.
Just a critter that they just met, and then she got a job.
That's true.
So just be Danny Carr.
I enjoy tomorrow, Nick.
Thank you. I will definitely do my best. Get all the sleep that I can. But if there's anything else that you guys want to talk about, I think we can go ahead and
I need
wrap
to go
up.
To sleep. I'm shattered.
Yeah.
It's been fun. I love talking these podcasts. But I'll see you next week.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for joining us. You guys in the chat, you guys watching home on YouTube or Spotify. Oh no, it's happened. All right, gotta lean down. All right, hello everyone. It's happened again. This is how we end episodes now. This is how we end episodes.
Was I down here last time? I can't remember.
But again, thank you all for joining in. It really means a lot for you guys to be here. We love doing this. We love talking to you guys at home, Spotify, and YouTube. Thank you all so much for spending the time with us and watching. We really appreciate it. And we will see you all next week. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.